Imagine Paris in 1720. Streets overflow with excitement. People from every class push and shout, trading everything they own, homes, land, jewels, for scraps of paper promising unimaginable wealth from distant American lands. Fortunes appear overnight. A beggar becomes a millionaire. This frenzy was not random luck. It was carefully built by one man, John Law, a Scottish gambler, mathematician, and visionary. In just a few years, he turned France into the world's largest speculative pyramid, and then watched it collapse, ruining countless lives and crippling the economy. To understand how this happened, we must go back to the roots. France in the early 1700s was exhausted. King Louis XIV, the Sun King, had ruled for over 70 years. His endless wars, the War of the Spanish Succession and others, left the kingdom drowning in debt. By 1715, when Louis died, the national debt reached about 3 billion livres. Taxes crushed the people. Credit was gone. The treasury was empty. The new king, Louis XV, was only 5 years old. His uncle, Philippe II, Duke of Orleans, ruled as regent. Desperate for solutions, the regent listened to radical ideas. Enter John Law. Born 1771 in Edinburgh, Scotland, Law was the son of a goldsmith. He studied mathematics and economics, but loved gambling even more. In 1694, he killed a man in a duel in London over a love affair and fled justice. He wandered Europe, Amsterdam, Venice, Genoa, sharpening his ideas about money. Law believed gold and silver were not the only true money. Paper currency, backed by trust and future growth, could create wealth. Credit could stimulate trade and heal economies. In 1715, he arrived in France and met the regent. Law promised a miracle. He could pay off the debt and make France rich again. In 1716, Law founded the Banque Royale, France's first private bank with royal privileges. It issued paper banknotes, something new and exciting. These notes were backed partly by coin reserves and partly by government revenues. At first, it worked beautifully. Interest rates fell, trade revived, prices stabilized. People trusted the new paper money. Law became a hero. In 1718, the bank was nationalized and renamed Banque Royale, giving Law even more power. He controlled the nation's money supply. But Law dreamed bigger. In 1717, he created the Compagnie d'Occident, the Company of the West, soon called the Mississippi Company. It received a monopoly on trade with Louisiana, the vast French territory along the Mississippi River. Law painted Louisiana as a paradise: gold, silver, fertile land, endless resources. In reality, it was mostly swamps, forests, and few settlers. Yet the promise sold shares. The company issued stock at 500 livres each. Law cleverly linked the company to his bank. People could borrow bank money to buy shares. Prices began to climb. The real explosion came in 1719. Law merged his company with others, creating the Compagnie des Indes, Company of the Indies. It now controlled all French colonial trade, tobacco, slaves, Asia, Africa. Then came the masterstroke. The company agreed to take over France's entire public debt, about 1.5 billion livres. Debt holders exchanged old government bonds for Mississippi Company shares. Since shares were rising fast, people rushed in. The bank printed more money to finance purchases. More money meant more demand for shares. Higher share prices justified more printing. It was a perfect closed loop, a self-feeding pyramid. Speculation went wild. By late 1719 and early 1720, a share worth 500 livres soared to 10,000, then peaked near 18,000 livres. Paris turned into a giant stock exchange. The street of Quincampoix became an open-air market where people traded day and night. Nobles, servants, foreigners, everyone joined. Stories spread. A hunchback rented his back as a writing desk for contracts and got rich. New millionaires, Mississippians, bought mansions and luxury. Law himself became the richest man in Europe, bought estates, received noble titles. The regent showered him with power. He even became Controller General of Finances. But reality crept in. Louisiana produced almost nothing valuable. No gold mines, no massive profits. Only a handful of settlers arrived, around 7,000 by 2020, and many died from disease or hardship. The company's expenses were huge, but revenues tiny. Meanwhile, the bank had printed far too much paper money, billions of livres, against little hard asset backing. Inflation exploded. Bread prices doubled. Luxury goods soared. People noticed gold disappearing abroad as smart investors cashed out. Law tried desperate fixes. In early 1720, he banned private ownership of gold above small amounts and forced people to exchange metal for paper. He fixed share prices artificially high, but panic spread. Rumors flew. The colonies are worthless. Foreigners sold shares. In May 1720, Law issued an edict devaluing both banknotes and shares by up to 50%. Chaos erupted. Crowds stormed the Banque Royale demanding gold. Fights broke out. At least 15 people were crushed to death in the mob. The regent sent troops. Law briefly reversed the devaluation, but trust was gone. By summer 1720, the bubble burst completely. Shares crashed from 18,000 livres back to around 500 or lower. The bank failed. Paper money became worthless. Thousands lost everything. Families were ruined. Suicides rose. Riots shook Paris. The economy froze. Trade halted. Credit vanished. Growth stalled for decades. Law was blamed. In December 1720, he fled France in disguise, first to Brussels, then Venice. He died poor in 1729, still gambling. The regent died in 1723. Later ministers burned the worthless notes and returned to gold and silver coins. France recovered slowly, but the trauma lingered and fed distrust of finance, perhaps even contributing to revolutionary anger decades later. What lessons does the Mississippi bubble teach? Law was a true innovator. He introduced paper money, central banking ideas, and credit expansion, concepts that shape modern economies. Yet without discipline, they became dangerous. Unlimited printing fueled illusion, not real growth. Greed blinded people to fundamentals. Speculation detached prices from value. Today we see echoes: dot-com mania, housing bubbles, crypto frenzies. The pattern repeats. Hype, easy credit, promises of endless riches, then collapse when reality returns. So ask yourself, could law have succeeded with tighter controls? Or was the pyramid inevitable once speculation took over? What would you have done as an investor in 1720 Paris? Buy in or walk away?